Hello everyone, how's it going? I am the Average Guy 1983. Thank you so much for tuning into the channel today and watching this video. I hope that today's video you find very useful and informative. In today's video, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to show you guys how I was able to make some custom speaker brackets for my 2019 Ford Flex SEL. My issue here was that I was unaware that the front door speaker brackets were a lot deeper in depth than the ones in the rear door. Because I went with the dimensions of the rear door, I made a big mistake of making the brackets too large for the front door. So I have to shrink the original speaker bracket down by 3/4 of an inch of material and then add my 1/4 inch ABS piece on top of the original bracket. So I'm going to get into more details with that in the video, with the exception that I already had pre-cut 3/4 of an inch material off of the original brackets, which I did purchase these brackets from eBay. It was from a 2018 Ford Flex Limited, and I have already cut them, so hopefully you guys will still find the video useful regardless to that part missing of the video. This will be the last time that I'll be recording off of my Samsung Galaxy Note 9, because I now purchased a Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra that I've had for 2 days, and it's a really big phone. It has a lot of more features than my Note 9 here currently has. One of them is being able to record in 1080p 60, 4K 60, 4K 30 with HDR10 plus, and 8K 24 with no more limit. So there is no 10-minute limit in 1080p. There's no more 5-minute recording limit at 4K 60 or 4K 30, and it's pretty awesome. And on top of that, this thing can do time lapse, which would have been very useful for when I made that video with the amplifier rack. When I did all the wiring, I could have cut like half of that video if I would have known how to do the time lapse. I do have time-lapse on my Filmora 8 software that I use on my Windows 7 PC, but it's very choppy, and that's why I chose not to do that. But this here, on the other hand, that I've been working with a little bit, I've been testing it out here and there, has been showing like really good results. So hopefully the next videos that I make in the future with the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra and the help of my Filmora 8 software, you guys will see better quality videos in the coming future. So other than that, let's go ahead and get to the video so that I can show you guys exactly how I have to do all of this, and I hope you guys find the video informative. So thank you very much for watching the channel. Thank you so much in advance for subscribing to the channel and hitting the thumbs up button so that other people can know about the channel and what I'm doing on the Ford Flex. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good one. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, so here we are with my entire mess of stuff. So what I have here is the original front speaker that came with my Ford Flex, and this is the rear bracket that I had told you about. This for the rear door. This is identical on both the left and the right, so if you order these online, whether they're used or not, it doesn't matter if you get the left side or the right side, it's the same size for both. Now for the front doors, like I mentioned earlier, that's a different story. You see how this one says left right here and the other one says right? Well, when you put them together, this is what it looks like, and you really can't change the way this looks. So this is what made it a little hard for me to just, you know, buy only one. I had to buy both, and I did cut them down like you guys already see there. I cut them down and I sanded them down with the Dremel. Did about as good a job as I could. This is a material that I cut off of both of them. So those are the original brackets there that went up here. Basically like this and like this. Doesn't really matter which one goes where, but just to give you guys an idea. And you can see the difference between the depth of this one, like this, and the depth of this one. You see that? There's a big difference on the size, and this is just with it being like this. So that's the front, the back. So issues here, like I mentioned earlier, this speaker is the one that goes to the back. On the back one, check it out. If it's nice, it's perfect, no issues, right? For the front, after removing the top panel part, check this out. See that? It's too wide. Even if I wanted to put it like this, it just wouldn't fit. It's too wide for it. However, this one here is wider. If I put this on here, check it out. See that? Hopefully you guys can see it okay. So normally, unfortunately, since this right here is 1/8 of an inch thick, I can't simply do what I just tried doing here, which was place the material on top with some template tape and trace it over off of the router. And the reason why I can't do it like that is because this router puts pressure on the material as it's cutting. So any wrong little move and this thing will ricochet the material. So this is not going to work. So to do this, I need to use this. So I covered it up, template tape. I traced over this piece of 1/4 inch wood, and it's going to be here like this. And what you want to do is with the jigsaw, you want to rough cut these edges all the way around. And by rough cut is get it to about 1/8 of an inch of material, something like that, all the way around if you can, to a maximum of 1/4. This way, this router here, 1/4 inch router, won't have to cut too much material, and it won't strain the blade and cause any router kickback. So let me go ahead, grab the jigsaw, and I'm going to rough cut that shape. Alrighty, so I removed the tape already, or the little adhesive pieces, which are now right there. I'm going to go ahead and attach this now to this piece of wood. So let me make sure that I get all the dust off of it from the top. And we're going to attach this speaker now on top of here, right around there. Press it down firmly, or just enough to like really get it to stay on. And there we go. So now let's go on over to the router. This top part is what we want to match. Turn on the router, and let's make some stuff. Alright, so this is what it should look like now. See that? Now that's a template for the speaker that I need to do. Just like that. You see that? And now we can go ahead and take this off. Alright, so I removed the stuff off of it. Check that out. See that? That is an exact copy of this speaker, which will now fit on top of here. Look at that. Just like that. See that? So now what we need to do, we need to get this template. Now put this on top of here. And now we have to trace over or copy this end to perhaps another piece of wood, just to play it safe. Alrighty, so here's how we basically have to have this template here, which I've already showed you guys before. So now it's just like this. And what I need to do is I need to remove the edges so it can be nicely rounded, so it won't copy the shape of this. It will just copy the round shape of the Mobile Solutions template. So let me go ahead and fix that up first with some scissors. I got to cut it off, this little excess stuff, peel it off and apply it in the template here, and we'll get another piece of wood. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, I went ahead and I already removed the little covers for the tape. So now we're going to grab the template here, make sure it's completely dusted off, and we're going to align it to the center. See if I can do it this way. There we go, as close as we can to the center. So right around, I'm going to say Yeah, right around there. Let me see how it looks like from the back. Yeah, that's good right there. So now what we want to do is press it down, put some weight on it. That seems pretty good there. The other part I'm going to have to do is copy this to another piece of wood, and the reason why I want to do that is because I want to be able to make this piece a solid piece together out of one piece of wood, so I can trace that wood onto multiple ABS pieces. Alrighty, and there's my shape before the center hole cutout. What you see here, like this, is now on top of here, like this, and this is going to get rough cut with the router, which the bit that I have does up to 1/2 inch. So this is 1/4 inch and this is 1/4 inch. That's the max material you can do for this. So now I'm going to go ahead. I'm also going to slightly sand down this little edge here that you see here. See that little tiny edge? I'm going to go ahead and sand it down to make it look just a little tiny bit better. And then we're going to go ahead and start with the router. So let me go ahead and rough cut this off and we'll get going. So here is the template tape. So we're just going to like put it on top and then press it down like I said earlier. Alrighty, we're ready. Here we go. Remember, material has to be shot in this direction because this blade spins that way, so you have to go against the machine. See that? So this is how it's supposed to be. So now all I need to do is just get another template that's going to fit underneath the speaker for this round shape to put on the inside, and then I can somewhat rough cut the inside of the circle. And now we can go ahead and get this off just like that. Now what's going to be a little more tricky is getting to the wood. Now I wouldn't necessarily get rid of this plate because there's different shapes of speakers for that. You want to put a 5 1/4 instead of a 6.5. Might be able to use this, but that came up pretty damn good. Look at that. If you look really closely here. Okay, so let me try to pry this off because this got stuck on really good. So I have to get like a little tool and pry it off. So what I'm going to use is just a simple scraping tool. This for painting. Just get it underneath here in the bottom. Just try not to scrape it too much. Just move it like this back and forth until you get in there as good as you can, and you start breaking through it a little bit through the tape. All we're trying to do is get the tape off. We're not trying to break the wood because we need the wood. See that? There we go. See? And without damaging anything. So now all the tape can come off of this. So this can be our master plate, and we can use this for anything else for a 5x7 related speaker. And then remove this because this is basically going to be the main shape for the C7 and C5 6.5 inch drivers. Because I'm going to be gluing this on to my template the way I'm doing mine, I don't have to put any holes here, 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 or here, because from the inside it's going to have that ABS slurry and it's going to get sandwiched on top of the plate. This is going to go right on here like this. So this will be just like that. So you can see how it's going to look. Here's the inside, like that. And then it's going to be glued on, and only the hole in the middle is going to be here to put the speaker in place, and then I can just drill in the holes for the 8 screws that the C7 requires, and that'll be my fixed template there. Then I can put it on, and then I'll have that inch of space from the front of the speaker to behind the grill, so when the speaker moves back and forth, we're not going to have any more issues anymore. And there's still going to be plenty of clearance from behind this speaker where the magnet's at, and it won't touch the window as the window rolls up and down. So for the mobile solutions for the 6.5 inch speakers, you need Oops, see if I can get there. The 6.62 mobile solutions. They don't sell this by itself. They sell it in a kit with a bunch of circles, and it costs over $100. I don't remember how much I paid, but I paid a good amount of money for this. And even with this, not even all the circle sizes were available. So for some of these, I might end up having to use my Jasper jig for cutting certain circles, especially since I want to do flush trim rings for my C5 speakers going into my Park Avenue. So something like this might help, then again it might not help. It's kind of a hit or miss with some other stuff, but that company does focus on car audio related stuff, so they're the best company to, in all honesty, buy from. But let me go ahead, grab the correct size for the internal hole, and I can grab one of my C5 6.5 inch drivers so I don't have to pull out the C7 out of the car. And I can measure the C5 because the C5 has a little bit of a larger hole than the C7, like depth, like the requirement for the inside of the hole. It's just a notch slightly wider. I have a C5 here, and though this speaker ring fits on top of here just perfect, it doesn't fit the bottom at all. See that? But it could just be because of these little pointy bracket thingies that are on the outside, and that can be causing the fitment problems. But on the C7 it did the same thing. So I almost forgot I had originally made this. See how this one's just a little excessively too big? I had made this originally out of the 3/8, and it fit the C5 perfect. So if I put the C5 in here, it fits just nice. So we're going to go ahead and use this on top of here, but we're going to do it like this because I want the top area, or the bottom here, like this. And then we're going to put a hole in the middle here, rough cut it, and then I'm going to go ahead and just re-put this bracket back on. So in order for me to align it right, I have to do it from the back like this. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it's actually getting dark outside. If you guys kind of see outside, it's dark, but I bought these LED lights to kind of make my life a little bit better whenever I'm working outside. There will be times where I'll be working in my basement, and other times where I'll be working outside. But anyways, here is the template tape that I put on to the bracket that we're going to be using. This is basically our final touch bracket. So I know it doesn't look all that great right now because all I did was just rough cut, but it's going to look much nicer once it's completed. So let me go ahead and start putting this faceplate on top here, and then we're going to align this as much as possible to the edges. We're depending on the edges here, these two edges that you see here. That's what we're depending on. And what you want to do is you want to put it on lightly so that you can make any adjustments that are necessary before we apply everything on here. And this is the back. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Alright, let's go ahead and start pressing it in. Alrighty, and let's go ahead and put our safety glasses back on. The real danger is going to come when we start working with the ABS. That is the dangerous part, because damn. Okay, so right here, this looks great. So let me go ahead and turn it on. And again, push in, and then in this direction. So yeah, this looks pretty good. So this is what our bracket is supposed to look like. So what I'm doing right now, I'm just removing all the little dust particles off of this. Working with MDF, super easy. It's a breeze. You're not going to have any issues. Working with ABS or acrylic on a router table with the router bit, now that's where you get into trouble, man. So hope you guys can see that, because I can't see what you guys are seeing right now. And it's getting really dark now, but I'm glad that I have these lights. So we want to be real careful as we remove this, because again, this template that we have right now at the top here, that is going to be our permanent template. Probably going to have to call it quits on this part of the video because it's getting dark. But here you go, guys. So this right here, this is our bracket. This is what the finishing product is going to look like. Here is the bracket, right? This is the left side, so this is the driver's side. Bracket is going to go on like this. It's going to align with the edges there, just like that, and the edges in the bottom, just like that. It's going to be glued on from the sides. Basically, in here, I'm going to apply ABS slurry. I'm going to apply ABS slurry to the back end, and then I'm going to apply it here, and I'm going to have it held down with some C-clamps. And then anything that didn't get finished, like if there's any gaps, like right there, there's a gap there, for example, it will get covered up in ABS slurry as well. And on the inside here, I'm also going to put ABS slurry on the edges right here, all the way around the edges until it seals everything up. This is the idea. Right now what I'm going to be doing is tracing over my 1/4 inch MDF template that I made into this machine grade ABS. So what I'm going to be using for the tracing is going to be the silver color Sharpie. It's a permanent marker, and it came in a pack of 3. It came with a bronze color, a gold color, and the silver for like $5 at Rite Aid. I couldn't find this by itself, so this was the best thing I can do. Let's go ahead and get to this now so we can try to finish this already, and then we're going to rough cut. And everything that I'm using other than these markers, specifically the blade that I'm going to use to cut to rough cut this material, I am going to be putting in the description for you guys. That is our trace over that we're going to do. What we want to do is we want to cut about 1/8 of an inch. For ABS plastic, you definitely want to cut this as short as possible, as closest to the line if you can. If you're really good with your eyes and you can cut 1/16 of an inch of material versus 1/8 of an inch, do that, because it will be less material for the router bit to bite onto, and it will be a smoother cut for you, and you won't have to worry about the thing moving or spitting the material out and you getting router kickback. So what you're going to need is a 3/8 of an inch drill, so that you can, or drill bit, so you can cut into the material, which is just wide enough for that jigsaw blade that I have right here to go into and have some space to move around back and forth. So let me go ahead and do that now. And see how easy that was to cut? This is why I like machine grade ABS. I'm going to put on some safety glasses, and I will tell you at the end what blade I use for this. Alright, so I'm going to start cutting, okay? You want to cut at medium speed so that the plastic won't start remelting itself back into place. So here we go. Start off from the inside first. If you do the outside first, you're going to struggle with doing the inside. So now the rest of it should be a little bit easier. So let's go. All right, we did the last piece. Okay, so here is the rough cut. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and clean up my mess real quick here with the broom. And then I'm going to apply the this bracket here on top of here like this. And see how I have some wiggle room there to move around on all sides. This is why I said, you know, cut, you know, about 1/8 of an inch to like 1/4. And if you have good eyesight, you can cut basically up to 1/16 of an inch to get it even closer. But this is good right here. So let me go ahead and clean all this mess up, and we'll come right back to this video. Alrighty, and we're back. So let me go ahead now and grab this material here. I'm going to go ahead and start applying some template tape, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut about maybe about 1 inch Yeah, like an inch and a quarter or so, around that much. And I'm going to apply it right in the center of here, just like that. Now if there's any material or any tape that you can see right there from the corner, right there, we got to cut that off with scissors, because any of this that may overlap over this area is going to show up on this material here. If it comes out just slightly too big, we could always cut the material off on both sides. And then we have to do this part up here, so we want it somewhere around here, and then with these scissors we cut it right around here. Want to peel off that backing here, just like that. Grab some of this, overlap it at the top like this, and then bring it down. And then we're going to cut right around here. Same deal here. Cut with some scissors. Save the rest for another day. So there we go. This is how we have to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and start peeling these off, and then we can start putting this together. So here's what I have to do to fix my issue on the speaker in the front doors of the Ford Flex. Crazy, right? I should have really paid attention to that, and I didn't. But hey, you know what I just realized? Remember when I told you guys that I did a video recording in 4K 60 on my Note 9 and it got corrupted? And then I felt bad because I made those speaker brackets and you guys weren't able to see the video. Well, I guess you can say that the video that I'm making right now is basically making up for the one that I didn't get to do, which would have came out wrong anyway. So this is the correct way of doing this. So it works out. Okay, so here's what we're going to do here. So in this one, you are going to see that the router bit is going to grab this material. So even though this is machine grade ABS, I'm still using the strength of my hands and not a machine moving back and forth. So let's take that into account. We're going to cut from the inside. So from the inside like this, you cut in this direction, all the way around in this direction. From the outside, you cut the opposite way, in this direction. So counterclockwise from the inside, clockwise from the outside. So let's go ahead and get started. Here we go. So watch how it's going to bite. You're going to see for yourself. So be real careful with this. This is also the last bracket I need to do. Okay, now a couple things I don't like about ABS plastic is that with this table that I have here, it brings a lot of static to the material, and it gets stuck on the on this table. So I was going to get that Jessam router table, but then I found out that it was out of stock at Mobile Solutions. I wanted to get the one for $799, and I contacted Mobile Solutions, and they told me that they have no idea when their Jessam router tables are going to be back in stock. So let me clean this up real quick before we do the outside, but this is already the inside, and I'm going to clean this mess up to prevent any kind of issues with the router and this plastic piece getting stuck to the machine. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, so now we're back. So here we go. Let's go ahead and finish this job. So watch how it's going to grab. Even with this, it's still going to grab material. So press firmly, hold it still as good as you can, push up and in this direction. See that? You guys got to see that live. Let's go. Just go another pass, just to make sure that it took everything out. See, look. All right. And that's it. Well, you guys got to see a little bit of how the blade grabs the ABS. Now remember how I did this bracket out of 1/4 inch wood, and it was a breeze to work with. That's not the case when it comes to ABS. So let me go ahead and take this off. We'll come back to the video. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, so I went ahead and I cleaned up my mess already, so I can just get done with this part of the project, and the gluing or the ABS slurry to this bracket would be the last thing I would have to do, other than just, you know, showing you guys a test fit of how the speaker fits in the car with the shorter bracket, and how much the magnet may stick out from the back of the door, because that's important, because we want to make sure that the window can roll down without any issues. So I'm taking off the material right now, just like that. So here we go. Okay, there we go. Alright, so this is still our master template for any 6.5 inch drivers. It should fit the majority of the 6.5s, like I mentioned before. Let's go ahead and just show you guys how this is supposed to look. So this is the ending result. This is the way the bracket should look. Okay, just like that. And you guys got to experience what that router kickback type thing looks like. And then this is a more denser 3/8 of an inch thick ABS. And if you can take a closer look here, see how ugly that looks from the edges? Because the thicker the material, the harder the blade or the router bit has to work. So that's unfortunately. And on this one here, that's not the case. See that? It looks pretty decent. Now this can be sanded down with some 120 grit sandpaper, or even some 220. Just sand it down lightly and you can smooth it out and make it look nice. But the intention here is to replace these brackets with the original ones with this. Put this on top of here, just like this. So there is a gap there. I will have to sand these down a little bit, but it will be like this. And again, you know, I have to sand them down, but there you have it. And once I do that, I can put the ABS slurry on top of here, ABS slurry on the back edges, and then once I'm done with that, on the inside here, the same thing here, like you guys can kind of see it. Put ABS slurry on the edges here all the way around in the bottom area, so that makes sure that this thing really stays on and it won't move. But that's the idea, guys. This is what I'm doing to correct my problem that I did on my Ford Flex, so that my C7s can fit, and now I won't have any issues with the speaker being on the top here and hitting the back of the speaker, the door panel speaker grill, because the excursion that comes out of it isn't even going to come close to touching the back of the door panel with this, and it shouldn't stick out that much from the back of this bracket anyways. So there shouldn't be any clearance issues with the window. Again, here's the other three. So this is already done, and this is the master plate that will fit most 6.5 inch drivers. And then this is the one that I originally was intending of doing, and this is where I got that router bite slash kickback where it actually hurt my finger, and I sliced my finger right over here. If you guys can kind of see that there, right there, you can kind of see the mark. The piece of the router bit caught my middle finger from, like, basically like you guys seen, moving the machine like this and the blade spinning. So yeah, if you guys use this, be real careful. Before I leave this video, allow me to tell you exactly what cutting tool I used for, or what blade I used to be able to cut this ABS plastic. So let me get to that for you guys right now. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly what I used. I bought this Diablo brand. I'm not sure what model it is, but here's what it looks like from the back. And the one that I used was the DJT 121BF, the very last one in the bottom that says 12 teeth per inch, which is the one at the edge right here. The one that says, this one here, 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 inch metal cut. And this is what the blade looks like. Allow me to pull it off real quick. This is called a T-shank from my understanding, and it looks like that. Now unfortunately the letters disappeared from it, but here we go. DJT 121BF, which happens to be, like I said earlier, the last blade. See that? This is what it measures, 3 inches and 5/8 in length, and teeth per inch, TPI, 12 teeth per inch. And this worked out really good. This is a metal cutting blade, and it goes right at the edge here, and that's the one that I used to be able to cut the 1/4 inch ABS plastic very smoothly at about from low to medium speed. So now you guys know, instead of hearing on other channels about using the appropriate size cutting blade without even telling you what brand, what model number, what size, etc. they used. And it's stupid. If you're gonna be teaching somebody something, you gotta like really put more attention to detail. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video so far. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are now reaching the end of this video. Want to thank you sincerely for sticking with me. If you're still here, leave a comment down below if you made it this far. And I want to show you guys real quick before we put that one together exactly what I had to do. So I have a finished bracket here, but the intention is to put the ABS slurry around these edges. I would also recommend that you use either a piece of cardboard or foam, anything you can put on top of your table so that it won't get dirty, because you will get it dirty with ABS slurry. So apply some here on this area here, just like this, all the way around. And then what you want to do, you set it down. It does take a few minutes for it to start curing, so you kind of want to move fast just to make sure you get it done right. Put the prettiest looking side of your bracket on the top, and the bottom area put some ABS slurry on the bottom as well, and then put it on top. When you put it on top of here, it should look like this. And again, this is with the adapter or the bracket sanded down. See how I made it a lot smaller, and there's a tiny little gap there that you can see there, but the rest, oops, all the way around, hopefully you guys can hear me because it's a little windy, like that, it's pretty much closed off. What we want to do is just make sure that we apply it on both ends, and then with one of these small C-clamps, you want to put it on the edge somewhere around here on this side, and the same thing on the opposite side around this side here, like this. You don't want to put it on this edge or on this edge, because it can kind of squeeze this down a little too far, and what it will do when you squeeze it down, it'll bring these parts of the bracket inwards, and then you'll have clearance issues when you try to mount the speaker. You'll have to get some sandpaper or a sanding disc and try to sand this area down, which it's just going to be more work for you in the end. So this is what it should look like, pretty much, give or take, once it is fully finished off. So I'm trying to get a really good picture here, but this is it. Now this was a 4-day process here, having to wait for the ABS slurry to dry up, because it's been really cold here in Cali, and it rained on Sunday, so more of a reason for this thing not to want to actually cool down. And even right now, even though it is hard, this is hard. The plastic, the ABS slurry is very hard, and it's actually very difficult to try to take apart, so it's sturdy. The inside looks like this. Let me see if I could turn it up just a tiny bit. There you go. That's how the inside looks like, so you guys can get an idea there. Okay, so I wrapped the inside with ABS slurry after I did the sides. So first what I did was I added the ABS slurry to the top of the bracket, then I added the adapter on top of it after adding also ABS slurry to the adapter, put it together with some C-clamps, let it dry overnight. The next day I took over the sides. I did one side first and then waited about 2 hours, did the other side second, wait another 2 hours, and then did this side here, waited another 2 hours, and then did this side over here and waited another 2 hours. And after that I went ahead and I finished this area here, and then let it dry for about a couple days, maybe 2 days, 3 days at the most, or in this case 4 days because of the weather. But this is exactly how the bracket should end. So if you guys see here, I have a 5-pound weight right here. This is for those tents. I'm going to place it right on top, so you can see that even having it up here like this, it ain't going anywhere. See that? This ABS slurry stuff works really good with ABS, and I highly recommend it over any kind of Mobile Solutions branded crazy glue. Again, I don't have anything against the company. I love their stuff, but some things work and some things don't. And in this case, for ABS, stick with ABS slurry. It's the best solution you can use. So let me go ahead and get to this part here of this bracket so we can finish it off, and that'll be the ending of this video for now. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, so now we're going to start applying this weld on 773 ABS, which I highly recommend. Works really good. All you need is a very small amount. I will do my best to put this in the description for you guys. I got this, I believe it was at Walmart, but either way, let's go ahead and get started. You also want to wear some gloves because this stuff gets on you. You also want to wear some clothes that you're not going to mind getting possibly dirty or damaged with this stuff. Okay, so you don't want to put too much, so some of it is going to kind of drip. So what you want to do is just move a little bit onto the edge of the rim and apply it as quickly as possible. Now again, you are going to get it a little dirty, so don't worry, you know, just get whatever you can on here. I'm going to have to possibly apply a little bit more than that. So here's the back end. We want to do the same thing for the ABS sheet. Just apply it just like that around the edges. And again, you will get this yourself dirty, so you got to move kind of fast on this. Now the last thing we want to do is apply it right on top and align it just like that. Make sure that the back side is also the same, and it will stick on pretty quickly. You see that? It's already sticking on. And you want to make sure that this back end here, the edges of the ring here of the speaker adapter, are not really like hitting the edge of this wall. And that's good enough. So now I'm going to go ahead and put this away, because since I am working with this outside, it can dry up pretty easily. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, so now we're going to go ahead and apply the C clamps here just to make sure that it stays secured and it won't move, and I can have it pressed down as much as possible. Usually when it comes to ABS slurry, you don't want to use it outside because it'll dry up too quickly. You want to work in a cool environment like a dark basement or a garage that has a closed door, to make sure that you have plenty of time to work with this. So let me go ahead and attach this C clamp on one end, just like that. Not too tight, not too loose. Do the same thing on the opposite side. There we go. Just like that. So now that that's done, I can tighten the other side just a tiny bit more. And now it's secured. You see that? Hopefully you guys can see that. This is exactly how we want it to be. When this dries up, we can go ahead and apply, or I can go ahead and apply more ABS slurry on the outside, just like I did with this bracket here. The bottom, same deal. You see how I have it there? Once I apply the layer in the back, it'll be nice and secured. And that's pretty much it for the bracket. That's all you have to do. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'd like to show you guys how to do the back ones, but unfortunately the back ones, I need to use the original ones that are inside of the doors. And because the back ones are not really causing me any issues like the front door speakers, I felt like it was more important to focus on the front doors than it is on the rear door. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, so let's go ahead and get started with removing the door panel so we can get the new speaker bracket installed, which is this one here. There you go. And make sure that you also pre-drill your screw holes into your bracket so that you have an easier time installing it, and then this way you won't have any issues later on. So I'm going to time-lapse this part using my Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra, and we'll take it from there. Let's go. Okay, so here's a closer look at the speaker. Now if you can see, there are marks right around these edges here from the rubber surround touching the back of the door panel, and that's not a good thing. So I was definitely having some clearance issues. However, if you take a really good look, check this out. The speaker has finally broken in. You see that? So now I'm going to be able to readjust my settings and start doing some EQ work on this thing and make it sound better. So let me bring my original bracket, which is right over here, so we can compare both of them. So this is the stock one with the PVC foam board plate, which this was only going to be temporary after I seen how flimsy it really was. And here's mine, just to compare the difference here. And then I added some sound shield material to make it look just a little bit nicer. It doesn't really do anything other than just make it look nicer. So there's how that's going to be. It is shorter in length, about, like I mentioned before, like ½ an inch shorter. So hopefully we don't run into any issues with door fitment. On the other one, on the driver's on the right passenger side front door, I barely had about ½ an inch of clearance from this bracket that's on the edge here touching the this sheet metal. You can kind of see it right there. This bracket here, this one here was touching this area, and it was about ½ an inch away from actually the magnet touching it. So I barely cut it close, but it wasn't anywhere near the window, but near this window regulator thing, yes it was. So this should fit here just like the other side did. So let me go ahead and remove this speaker, and we'll start getting to this this final production part of the video. Let's do this. Alrighty, so real quick before I start removing this bracket here with the flimsy made adapter, I'd like to show you guys the clearance issues that I was talking about. So hopefully my camera here can catch it. Let's see if I could turn this light on real quick. Please work for me, light. Yay, it worked. All right, so you see that black metal bracket right here, this one here? This is the one that gets in the way. The window goes behind this area, and the window actually sticks out even further, about a good 2 inches away from this bracket. It just sticks out more, so it doesn't even come close to touching the speaker magnet. But this bracket here does come close to touching the speaker magnet. It basically touches it about close to ½ an inch. So it was about the same distance of my finger thickness that it comes close to, but it doesn't touch it, so that's a good thing. So I'm going to add a little bit more sound deadener to this door. I have the new Concepts 100mm in here. It's been almost 2 years, and it's been doing good with rain weather, hot weather, cold weather, etc. It hasn't came apart, so that's a really good sign that this is some good high quality stuff. And I'm happy to be able to, you know, inform you guys that the new Concepts 100mm Colossus Edition deadener, it's a really good high quality product, and I recommend you guys buying it. And again, I'm in no way sponsored by these guys. I kind of wish I was, because this build cost me a lot, but at the same time, I do like the fact that I buy my own stuff and I can give you guys my own honest opinion, and I don't have to worry about anybody telling me what I can say to people and what I can't. So let me do a measurement real quick. It's about 2 inches and 7/8 of an inch from the bottom here, where the bracket sits here in this part, to the edge of this. So when I install my bracket, we're going to do the same measurement again. And the distance between this black bracket here that I was telling you that gets in the way of the speaker, kind of gets in the way, 3 inches and 5/8 from this area here. So 3 inches and 5/8. So if your speaker is under 3 inches, you should be all right. So that's if you're going to use the original bracket. So remember, you're not going to have any clearance issues on here with this speaker bracket if you use another 5x7 higher performance speaker. But if you're going to do what I did, which is use the 6.5 inch round speakers, they're thicker, they have more excursion and give you overall better mid-bass performance, then yes, you might have some clearance issues, which I recommend that you follow this video through and try to make your own brackets, so that instead of having something like this, you can have something more custom made looking like this and more solid. then anything that attaches to the original bracket that's flimsy, look at this. You see that? This is flimsy material. So never use cheap plastic material, the PVC foam board, for speaker brackets. For amp brackets, it's cool. For speaker brackets, nah, because you'll have vibration problems with, obviously, excursion. So I'm going to finish sound deadening this area, and then I'll show you guys some footage of what it looks like from here and from the inside. And we're also going to be installing that install bay material as well onto the front here. So let's get to that. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, let's do a quick measurement just so you guys can see they are together. This is the original factory on the right, and on the left with the sound shield material is the one that I made. I made it 1/2 inch smaller, technically 3/4 of an inch smaller, and then added the 1/4 inch bracket to it. But this is what it looks like. So there won't be any more clearance issues like the damages you guys seen on the speaker. Thankfully I was able to save it just in time and not have to replace it. But let's see how everything goes. Let's keep going. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, so I apologize for taking a long time with this thing. I know that I've already exceeded the amount of time, but I figured it would be fun to do this. Look, so I installed the sound shield material on the door. You guys can see it there. Everything's put on. I literally ran out of sound shield material. This that you see in there, it's all I have left. I don't have anything else. That's it. Just scraps of, material that I can use to cover up any little spots inside that I might have missed. But that's all I have. So I'm gonna have to buy some more of that material to cover this whole door panel up. But now comes the question of whether I should cover it up or if I should go with my idea of making some custom 1/16 of an inch ABS plastic panels to put on there with some rivets on the sheet metal with screws, and then be able to remove them at will to service the window regulator or the track in the future should it give out. I doubt it giving out, but just in case, I think it would be a good idea to do that. But I don't know if I could make it happen or not. Again, everything is based on the knowledge that I currently have right now and the limited amount of materials and equipment I have to make this happen. I'd like to do a sound demo for you guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that plastic panel thing back on there, put this original speaker bracket back on with the speaker back on again, and then lock up the door panel and give you guys a demo of what it sounds like without the install bay silicone speaker baffle, and on the passenger side in the front with it, to see if you guys can hear a difference or not, and the same for myself to see if I can hear a difference or not. So let's go ahead and do that right now. I'm going to grab my GoPro Hero 5 and my Rode Video Mic Pro, and we're going to do some sound tests. So let's go. Here are my settings. Like, everything is flat, so there's nothing special enhanced on the audio. And as you guys can see here, the subwoofer is off, as well as the rear speakers. On this side here, everything is also set to the front and not the rear. If I have the little knob in the middle, the outer knob in the middle, it will be set to front and rear. So I'm gonna go ahead and come over here, set this to this side here, so you guys can see that the speaker is only being heard from this side here. And I'm going to go ahead and grab the microphone now and put it there so you guys can hear it. And then again, here we go. I'm going to just exit out. Everything's flat like you guys see there. And let's go to the audio. This is one of my tracks, beat number 5. I'm going to turn up the sound to number 15, just so you guys can try to hear the mid bass coming out of it. So this is with the install bay silicone ring in the front, covering up basically the speaker area so that all the sound can be directed out of the grill and not into the panel. Here we go. here we go. Alrighty, and I stopped it again. Apologies for that. Add 42 seconds again. Okay, so hopefully you guys were able to hear a difference between the sound on this door and the sound on this door with the install bay ring or silicone baffle ring installed. I can tell a difference in person. You can hear the sound being more direct, and even the door panel is vibrating less. And I don't have the door panel, the plastic panel itself that you see there. Neither of the ones on the doors are treated, at least not yet, because I'm really running out of material. But I have to buy at least maybe 5 more rolls of the Mobile Solutions Sound Shield brand of deadener material in order for me to be able to do the door panels. But that's, you know, for another project, and that I can do off camera. Hope you guys were able to tell some kind of a difference using the GoPro Hero 5 and the Rode Video Mic Pro microphone. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, and now that we're back to the video, here's what the actual new bracket looks like. I think it looks far better. There's also no movement at all. This thing is dead solid on, and that is exactly my goal. Allow me to give you guys some measurements real quick. Again, like I mentioned earlier, this was 2 inches, and after putting this bracket here, it still is 2 inches. That hasn't changed. However, the bracket on the inside, that right there, we'll have to measure from this corner. It is 3 inches. So we have some decent clearance because the speaker is 2.77 inches in diameter from the edge of this bracket here to the back of the magnet. So allow me to take off this bracket real quick, and we'll get to this part of the video where I'm going to show you guys the inside cavity of how it looks with the speaker mounted with the install bay silicone sleeve thing or bracket, and without it, the baffle I mean. Alrighty guys, hopefully you guys can see this good. I'm going to go ahead and put the speaker in here like this, just as a temporary deal, just like that, like if it was being mounted without. Okay, and then we're going to go and see the clearance that we have. So there you go. Hopefully you guys can see that there's the clearance of the JL speaker. I can put it like this, and it doesn't touch the magnet. You see how it moves? Nothing touches. And where you see that black bar going down, that's where the actual window sits. So it doesn't even come anywhere near the speaker. So I would say this is like your maximum depth that you'll be able to do. Let's go ahead and install the speaker baffle from install bay and see what difference it makes. Alrighty, so let's check out this install bay silicone speaker baffle kit. So you basically get 2 of these. You get 2 of these. Now these, I don't recommend using this, man. This is open cell foam, and open cell means that you'll get water absorption on this thing, and this thing will eventually fall off of the door panel, versus closed cell foam, which is the stuff from Mobile Solutions. You can see the difference there. Closed cell foam, open cell foam. You see all the little holes there? That's not a good thing. So I'm not going to be using this at all for anything. I feel like what I did here with the Mobile Solutions sound shield with the closed cell foam, it's a much better solution to give me more mid-bass throughout the entire door than just this tiny little circle. So we're going to go ahead and put this to the side real quick, and now we're going to focus on this. So here's my issue with this that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Since I made this, I made it to the exact size of my C7 speaker so that it can fit nice and snug. Because I did that, this won't fit. So this is bent However, you can unfold it and make it longer like this. See that? Now this is a really cool thing because you can actually now block off water from touching your speaker. Unfortunately, even with this material thinner going in here, though it may fit just like this, kind of, because it's a bit of a tight squeeze in there, it can fit like this. If we go to the back of the panel here with it on, it looks like this. So hopefully you guys can see that. There's a cone right there. It only comes up just a slightly bit, so it doesn't get in the way of anything, which is good. But for my application, that's not going to work. I've already tried it in the other doors and it didn't work because of the way I made it. So for me, I have to cut this material off all the way around and just use this part sitting here flushed, and then put the speaker on. Put one screw at a time, and then as I'm doing that, push this area here forward so that it can attach to each speaker hole individually and not have any problems. This is much better than the foam rings from Stinger, which is the fast rings. This is a much better material, and if this is too long, you can actually fold it back just like this, and there you go. And now that it's folded back, now you have more clearance for this to just be at the edge of your door panel, and all the audio coming out like you heard earlier on the audio system. Unfortunately for me, this is not going to work. This inner diameter ring part's not going to work, but the outer part with this flap is definitely going to work. The inner diameter is exactly 6.5. The outer diameter from this part of the ring to the edge side of the ring, this part here, so this side to this side, outside part, 7.5 inches. From the edge of the ring here, this part, like an inch and a quarter. If we bend it, 5/8. So there you go. Those are the measurements for that. The depth from the edge of the ring where your speaker was set at to the edge of this foam piece right here in the back, already fully extended, is 3 inches. Actually, it's 3 inches, literally. So there you go. Oops, I should probably show you guys how I'm going to cut this material. So I don't recommend you use scissors. So don't use scissors for this because it's not going to cut right. Use a really sharp box cutter and start cutting from the edges from here. You could also cut from this angle here this way, and then to the opposite side this way, and then cut from this edge here all the way across to the opposite edge that you cut, and then remove that so that you can just have just one side open and one side closed and one side open in the bottom, just in case you have fitment issues. I tried that too and it still didn't work for my application. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and cut this and just use this. So here we go. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, this has already been cut. I did this mistake with another one too, where I accidentally cut this area. And again, it's very easy to cut this material, but it should still be fine. There shouldn't be any issues at all. I'll probably put this part in the bottom and the rest around. So let me go ahead and install it now, and we'll show the final results. Alrighty, so what we want to do here to be able to put this fast ring on, you want to basically push this edges against the speaker and then put your screw in. So all these areas here that are loose, you want to push them in just like that. So see how it's loose like this? It's because this bracket, or not the bracket, but this ring is a little bigger to fit most 6.5 inch drivers. It may be a little larger, but you just want to push this in, put the screw in this area, and then do the same thing all over through the rest of the speaker. And let's go. Time lapse time. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, and there you have it. This is how it should look. I think it looks freaking awesome, and this should definitely prevent any further damage happening to this speaker here that you can see from the marks of the door panel. So let me go ahead and finish putting this plastic thing on and the door panel itself, and we'll do some clearance difference just so you guys can see how everything looks. Let's go. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are now at the ending of the video. I do apologize for not showing you guys the rear of the inside of the door panel once I installed the install bay speaker silicone bracket or baffle. But allow me to show you guys the new clearance that I have. Can you see that? Look at that. Now the silicone around, or the rubber surround, is no longer anywhere near close to the door panel. Now I can go ahead and set up my EQ settings to fine-tune these speakers and really let them come to life, because since I had this issue with the bracket, I had some really bad clearance issues. Now there's about an inch of clearance from the front of the speaker to the back of this plastic panel speaker grill. So I'm very happy with the results for the brackets that I made. And now you guys know that if you guys come up with this problem, what you might have to do in order to get it done. So again, my channel is based on trying to help you save some money on installation so that you can actually invest more money into your car audio gear to get something more high-end. I will give you guys another video in a couple months once I have everything all set up and give you guys my honest opinion of what I think of these speakers now that I can be able to adjust them and take them out of that flat frequency deal and really push these speakers to their limits and let you guys know whether they're still not really worth their price or if they are, because there's a couple of people already that have talked to me on the channel on the previous video I made and they're misinterpreting what I said. So I'd like to clear that out once I get these things set up. So that's it for the video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I apologize sincerely for taking so long to make this video, and I actually cut this video as short as possible, so it was longer than this before. So thank you again, and see you guys in a couple months with the update on the JL Audio C7 system with the Tweak 88 DSPs. Peace out.